All right, good afternoon, class. For science today, we're going to be doing an experiment, and I named it Blow It Up. And now you may be thinking that that means we're going to have some explosions or anything. Not quite, actually. We're going to be blowing up a balloon without our mouths. So we're going to look at the chemical reactions between two different substances and see if the temperature of the water will affect how much the balloon is blowing up. But first, we're going to go over my expectations that I have of you guys before we do our experiment. And number one, as you all know, is the class rule is bubbles must be caught when I'm speaking. So that means you're going to catch your bubble and not talk. And if I need your attention in the middle of the experiment, I'll raise my hand and I'll put my hand over my mouth, and that is your signal to look at me and catch your bubbles. And then number two, you each are going to be assigned a different job that'll help the experiment. And so you're going to do your own job to the best of your ability. So even if your partner may look like they need help, I want you to focus on what you're doing because I know you're going to do the best you can. And then number three, all of your jobs work together. So make sure that you are communicating with each other because that's really important. Because if you're way ahead, then the person next to you might get really confused and have no idea what they're doing. And then number four, we're going to stay on task. We're going to work really hard to do this in the amount of time that I've given you, and so that you're not just going off and talking about the party that you're going to tomorrow night after school or the basketball game that's on Saturday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys your worksheet, and I want you guys to look over it. And the first thing that we are going to look at is the problem that we are addressing. And so the question that I have for us is, does the temperature of the water affect the reaction of the yeast and the sugar in order to blow up a balloon? So I want you guys to think about what you would predict would happen. Do you think that the temperature of the water will or will not affect it? And then next, we're going to go over the materials that I have for the experiment today that we're going to be using. And we are going to be having yeast. There's 3 different packets because we're going to have 3 different temperatures of water. There is sugar that you guys will be able to measure out by yourselves and have it for each balloon. And then 3 temperatures of water and a funnel. And the funnel is going to be really important for you guys to use so we don't get it all messy all over the table. If you put the dry ingredients in the funnel and have the balloon at the bottom, it'll go in perfectly. It'll be really easy for you guys to get it in the balloon. So we're going to put the sugar in the balloon and then put the yeast in the balloon with the funnel, and you're going to do all of the balloons at one time. That way, if we put the water in the funnel, it doesn't get all wet, and then the exact amount of yeast won't go in the next balloon. And so then we are going to add the water, and we're going to measure the balloon. As soon as we put the water in, we're going to tie it up and measure it with the string that I have, and you're going to mark on the string how big it is. And then you're going to watch it for a total of 6 minutes. And every 2 minutes, you're going to re-measure the balloon with the same string, and you're going to mark with the Sharpie how big it's expanded. And you're also going to be recording it on the chart that's on your paper. So the next thing on your worksheet is I want you guys to think of what combination of ingredients create a reaction if they are put together. I want you guys to think of things that you may see or that may occur on a regular basis around you that would cause a reaction. Can you guys tell me some of your thoughts on that?
Baking soda and vinegar.
Very good.
Bubble wrap and warm water.
Yes, that's always fun. Do you guys have a different one?
Like baking soda or baking powder with like cookie dough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps it rise.
I was thinking like yeast with the other ingredients in bread.
Oh yeah. Yep, putting it all together to help it rise. Very good. Well, now I want you guys, we're going to get into the crux of our experiment, and I want you guys to develop your hypothesis, which is similar to the problem that we addressed. And so, do you think the temperature of the water will change the amount the balloon inflates? And that's a yes or no answer. And then I want you to say how you think it'll affect it. If you think that the hotter it gets, the less it'll expand, or vice versa. So this is your opinion, and there's no right or there's no wrong answer. Because it's all about learning and seeing if we can use our deductive reasoning skills to predict well. Alright, so I have 4 jobs, and the first job is going to be the water girl, and I want Beth to be the water girl. You, whenever the group is ready, you're going to come up and get 1/4 of a cup of water, whatever temperature that you need it to be, and then you're going to pour it in the funnel and into the balloon. And you also are going to help the mixer, who is going to be Taryn. And Taryn is going to put the dry ingredients in the funnel. So whenever she's pouring the dry ingredients, you're going to hold the balloon on the funnel for her. And whenever Beth is putting in the water, you're going to hold the balloon on the funnel for her. And then our third job is the timer, which will be Heather. And so you're going to keep track of the minutes as the balloon expands. And you're also going to help the recorder by marking the string whenever she puts it around. And so Kim is the recorder, and you're going to measure the balloon every 2 minutes. And so you're just going to put the string that I give you around it, and then Heather will mark it with the Sharpie. And then we'll just keep going on top of that. And your guys' job will change with every trial. So you all won't get to be every job, but you'll get to be 3 of the 4 jobs. So what I need is for the timer to come up and get the first ingredients that we're going to need and the materials that we're going to use for the first experiment. So we're going to take the funnel and the Sharpie and the string and the balloon. So what you guys are going to do is, after we have them all laid out, I have all the water at the front of the classroom. So I have the cold water, and I can help you pour it into the 4th thing, and then I will start warming up the water for the warm water and the hot water experiment. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and measure out and put in the dry ingredients in your balloons. So I'll get the other 2 since we're doing them all 3 at the same time. And so in each balloon you need 1 package of yeast and then 1 teaspoon of sugar. So you're just going to measure it out, put it in the funnel, and put it in the balloon.
It's all good. Yes. In each balloon?
Yes. Each balloon needs to be filled up with the same thing. And as we're doing this, who can tell me what some of the controlled variables are? Those are the variables that don't change, that are the same for every experiment. Who can tell me what some of those are?
Amount of ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
The type of yeast.
Yep. There are lots of different controlled ingredients. And then what do you guys think would be the independent variable, which is the thing that is going to change with every trial that we do?
The temperature of the water.
Mm-hmm. We're going to try to see if the temperature affects it, right?
There it goes.
If you need to open it more, you can.
Yeah. She got sugar on the desk.
Well, you know what? That is the joy of having paper towels readily available. Is we can just
eat the sugar.
I don't think we're gonna eat it right now because then we'd be bouncing off the walls. And remember, our fourth thing is to stay on task. And so if we're full of sugar, we're probably not gonna stay on task. So I can just go like this and clean it up. All right. So now that we have all of our dry ingredients, who can tell me what the next step is going to be that we need to do?
Add the water.
We're going to need to do the water. So we're going to start with the cold water and see if that has any effect. And for a timer, you can either use a clock on the back wall, or if you have a cell phone, you are welcome to get that out and use it to keep track of the time a little bit easier. So I'm going to have the water girl come over here, Beth, and we're going to fill up 1/4 of a cup of cold water. All right. You can like carry it over the bowl. Yes. So before we pour the water in the bowl or in the balloon, I want you guys to turn over your papers. Sorry. And we're going to look at the chart that I have that you guys are going to be responsible for filling out. And what I have there is your chart, and it has the cold and the warm and the hot water. And this is just where you're going to record how big it's expanded. I have a ruler that you are able to measure the mark with. So you're going to start at the end of the string and then measure to wherever you mark. And you'll just record that measurement in each box for each one. So, are you guys ready to do your first trial? And remember, it's 6 minutes and you're measuring every 2 minutes.
Is someone going to hold
Am I
this up
supposed
in
to,
the
am I supposed to pull it off and tie it?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to pull it, once you pour the water in, pull it off, tie it. And we're going to measure it real fast and then we'll start the timer. So if you want to, you can go ahead and pour it in.
All the water is in there.
That's okay.
Future.
I can tie the balloon for you. All right. Let's measure it. Does that look good? Okay. Let's measure it.
Just around the bottom.
Yes. Just around like this part. So if you want to hold it. All right, and now we're gonna start the timer,
Go.
and we will watch it expand.
Find it.
I didn't know. It's like right here.
Yeah.
It's really small. Right around here. I'm gonna measure that and then we might just have to keep our finger on it because the marker is not showing up.
So what do you guys think is going to happen with this first one? Do you think it's going to expand a lot or not as much?
Not as much. Do we measure in inches or centimeters?
Measure in centimeters.
8.
Where do we write that?
And so you're going to write that in the first box where it said in the line that says cold and just in that box.
Okay.
You guys are welcome to talk quietly while you are waiting for the 2 minutes because it is kind of a long time, but we have to give the yeast and the sugar and the water time to start creating a reaction, possibly. We'll see if it works with the cold water.
Would it make a difference if we like mixed it, like kneaded the balloon? Would that change it?
If it what?
Like, if this were that one filled with water and you guys were mixing it, would that change the reaction time?
It may or may not. I don't know. It's something I'll have to try out and see if it changes it at all. I think with just like having the water be in there, it'll like mix itself and dissolve a little bit.
Um, Twelve. It's kind of like spinning.
Kind of a little bit.
It's like a tumor.
What do you guys think this would be helpful for? Knowing how much it would expand.
Like if you make bread and if you're trying to like speed the process up, then
Mhm.
if you use like warm water as opposed to cold water and the cold water didn't make it rise as quickly,
Mhm.
then it could like increase the process maybe by a couple hours.
Very true. Yeah, especially making pizza dough. I know I make pizza dough on Sunday afternoons, and you know, we don't want to take 6 hours to make the actual dough. We'd rather have it done and let it rise for about an hour and then finally be able to cook it. So, very good.
Second grade.
I know, we're second graders. I don't remember. 4 minutes.
Close it out.
How do you guys think this will differ from the warm water?
The worms and everything
Mhm.
faster.
Faster. Mm-hmm.
Maybe it dissolves more.
Because it's warm instead of cold. Yeah, things have a tendency to not dissolve as quickly in the cold water, and so guess we will see if that has an effect on it actually blows up.
What if it expands so it explodes?
Then we're gonna have to clean it up.
Again.
and again. We'll have to clean it up again and see if we can't do something a little bit differently. We're gonna hope though that with the amount of water that we're using that it won't cause it to blow up because it'd make quite a bit of a mess. But I am prepared with paper towels.
What if you use like water balloons instead of regular balloons?
Well, you tell me, how do you think that would affect it?
They're thinner.
Mm-hmm. And they're smaller, they're not quite as big, so I don't know if you could fit as much stuff that would create the reaction needed to actually have it blow up. And so not that and this is something that you probably wouldn't want to do at your next birthday party. It might take a little bit longer than blowing it up with your mouth, but
Just imagining we do it at the birthday party.
Oh yeah.
it would probably take a long time.
12 and a half.
Alright, so not a lot of change. So we're going to go ahead and go on to our next one, which is going to be the warm water. So it's not quite boiling. So if Beth, our water girl, wants to come up, and I will fill up.
I know.
Now I'm in the class with them. I'm like, no, this isn't really good.
Is that what grade you are?
Mm-hmm. He hit me.
That's why I'm surprised my third graders aren't.
Oh, really?
Mine aren't either.
Really?
Mine will go up to each other and be like, "Hey, are you still mad at Katie?" "No, I'm friends with her today." "Oh, okay. I'm mad at her
I
still."
only heard that one time, like, they said they're not my friend. And the teacher was like, is that really a big deal?
That's so funny.
We're waiting for the water to cool down a little bit because we don't want it hot, but we want it warm. So we added the cold water into the water to help it cool down a little faster.
I'll go for two more too.
You know, it's kind of weird, yeah.
I like it. I like the little jellyfish.
Is
I'm
it
like, if you were
air in
second
it?
grade, you'd be like,
It'd be such a weird second grader, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny if I was
ah, look it, I can wrap it around my hand.
Alright, well let's make sure that we don't wrap it tight. And are we staying on task by wrapping it around our hand?
Yeah.
Alright.
Remember,
Okay,
that's one thing
Yeah,
that
I was
we
about to
need
say, next
to.
time, let's
I'll look.
I just spill it on Darren.
Sorry, Jerry.
Okay, it's a good thing we are all friends. It's all accidental. Well, even if we're not friends, we still have to be nice to each
You
other.
gave me your graham crackers yesterday. Even though I asked nicely.
Oh. Well, you know what? Maybe we should
Yeah.
bring our own graham crackers from home.
Kim?
That sounds already as big as that one.
Looks like it.
2 tumors.
Right, so we need to measure it.
Oh.
Can she pass it up?
And here are paper towels.
Ooh, it's hot.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a little bit warmer than the cold water.
13. I knew it.
Alright, so it's already bigger than the first one.
Ooh, look at the little belly. Watch it. Do you see
I
it?
can see like that. It's like deformed.
Yeah, I know. What is that?
Is that deformed?
It is.
Do you guys think it would have made any of it difference if we had had it held up, if someone held it while it expanded, rather than laying it down?
I think it would affect the shape.
Well, I don't think it would affect how fast your
No.
salad expanded.
It would look like a camel or something.
Yeah, mine was a little different. So it's going down.
I'm calling it.
It's a good thing I have an extra paper. In case it happens.
Thank you.
We are all prepared. We're ready.
little boiling water.
I won't.
My fingers are scalded and they smell like yeast.
After the
Just get me real.
experiment, we can go wash our hands.
Do you smell it?
I don't smell
The
it.
rubber and stuff?
Yep.
I don't smell anything.
That's good. It smells bad.
Yeah, I'm sure the combination of the
I never
yeast and
smelled
the
it.
rubber.
It's gross.
Have you guys ever smelled bread rising or pizza dough? I know when my mom used to make it when I was little, I didn't like it when she first put the yeast in because it just smelled so gross.
I don't smell
But,
anything.
yeah, it might just be you're too far
I
away
haven't
or.
smelled anything for a long time.
Well,
You still smell chlorine, Kim.
What is wrong with you?
That's the problem.
to say you kind of become immune to it after you smell it for a while.
Yeah. I still smell it, but I'm not in
2
it.
minutes.
2 minutes.
Just your nose.
I mean, can you smell cookies when they bake? Make your sometimes, not really. 13 and a half.
Really?
What?
That's it?
Yeah, like. Yeah, that's so far. No, like I made red velvet cookies. I'm like, I don't smell anything.
That can almost be dangerous though too. You can
Yeah,
burn
there's
cookies
a fire
that way.
in your house.
A fire.
It's still a fire. It'll be fine. And you like hot weather, so it'd be super warm. You'd be like, this is so great. You're the best.
Maybe the chlorine from swimming all the time has killed your sense of smell.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah, it is.
I laugh when like blonde-haired people go swimming all the time and their hair's green after a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's bad.
That's good. It's like on your head. That's what you were looking for. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Gotta see if it changes any of the reaction.
It will.
I love those things.
I know, that's a nice one.
They have one out in the Crystal Mountain Food Area.
Really?
Yeah.
Heats it up so fast.
Yeah,
There
I
is.
didn't know about that either.
Where?
It's right out there. If you go right past Miss Sally's office and turn left.
Huh.
There's a microwave cabinet. They have a microwave.
I knew there was a
and
microwave.
fridge, and a little thing like that, and like ramen and mac and cheese and peanut butter cookies and well, peanut butter crackers, things like that.
I did not know that.
You should go explore. It's like really cheap too.
4 minutes.
Yeah. It's like out in the vending machine, you pay like $1 for a Pop-Tart, and here you pay 50 cents. 14.
Slowly. Do you think if we had had more time that it would have, like, do you think it'll blow up more?
Probably. The cold one's not blowing up though. Plus, the hot water will get cold though. So that would be after it loses like its heat capacity.
That's true. Do you think if we mix it with other stuff, it might help it just continue the reaction and continue to blow up?
It probably would, because then, like, you make bread, you have to wait a while, so,
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Right.
I
And
don't
you
think
add it
it's
with the
different.
flour, and
Does oxygen have anything to do with it?
it might having that little bit of air allow in, and yes, it really might. What's another way you think we could test this without using a balloon? How do you think we could, like, test yeast in water and see how fast it rises? Besides
Make
make
the
bread, is
dough.
there a more practical one in the classroom? Because we don't quite have an oven in our availability. Not really.
No.
I wonder if it would make a difference is if you, like, instead of tying off the balloon, you kept it maybe over the funnel, or
Mhm.
kept it over something else, or even had it in a cup, or, you know, with a small lid,
Mhm.
and then put it over the cup and see how much it maybe
wouldn't expand that.
That is very true. I think if we had kept it over the funnel, it would have allowed that oxygen that Taryn was talking about, and maybe would have had a different reaction.
No way.
I don't believe that though.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
If we compare the two, you can definitely see a difference already.
No, I do. My thing is I feel like the green one is bigger than 14.
Right. You're welcome to
No,
check it if you'd
I
like.
believe you. I'm just saying I don't believe you.
Go. I believe you.
All right, so are we ready for our third and final trial?
We're gonna hope I don't burn hair this time.
You said I was a bad measurer.
This water is really, really hot. And you know what, Kim? You are doing the best you can, which is all I ask
I'm just
for.
smelling the balloons I hold.
I still don't smell it.
Really?
No.
Do you smell this?
The rubber's like burning.
Do you smell the yeast? Oh my gosh, Candy.
Yeah, you have an issue.
Alright, I'm putting my hand over yours this time.
Okay.
Make sure, I feel like the balloon's not on super tight, so.
Oh yeah.
Good job. Third time's a charm. We got it all in the first time without spilling. We just get better as we go.
It's just a matter of
taking it off, but that's okay. We are all prepared for
ready. Yeah.
Here, Kim.
Did you get yourself burned that time? Oh my gosh. I can smell it. So bad.
I think there's something sincerely wrong with your nose.
So too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
So based on the initial observations of our measuring, which one was the biggest when we started?
The warm.
The warm. What was the difference between the biggest one and the smallest one? Can you guys figure that out by using your subtracting skills?
5.
What was the biggest one and
The biggest one.
and the smallest one?
Correct.
Sorry. You're right, 5. I totally was doing hottest and coldest.
So Beth, how would you do that? How would you figure out the difference between the two?
I
What two
counted.
numbers would you subtract?
I count up. I didn't subtract.
Oh, okay.
I counted from 8 up to 13.
Okay, and so that's how you got 5. Heather, did you do it differently?
I did.
How did you do it?
I just took it away.
Just took those away one by one until you got down to 8. Very good. All right, well,
But we lost some water.
I know, I
Probably
probably
lost
lost
more
more water in the second one than in this one.
We've lost more water every time.
so do you think that's going to affect it? Do you think not having as much water will affect the reaction that the yeast may have?
It could.
How do you think that would affect it?
Well, it could like, if it needs like a certain amount of water to like activate it,
Mhm.
then without that like actual amount, then it can only activate itself like so much.
That is very true. Yep, so just from the funnel and
This one I feel
Oh,
like it's
yeah,
getting
maybe.
bigger now.
it is,
than
it
the
looks
last
like
one,
it.
So like, if we did it longer than 6 minutes, it would probably still come.
Mhm. I think it would just from over time and still having a reaction. And if you want for fun at the end, we can always measure it to see how long it's been, since we know it's been about 6 minutes. So you can just add an additional 6 minutes to the last time of the warm water one.
$13.5.
What is your guys' prediction for how big it will be at 6 minutes?
15.
14 and a half.
I think 14 or 15. I think 15. I
Okay.
think for mine.
I think 14.
All right, good predictions. I guess we'll have to see who is closest.
Go get candy.
We can, but I actually left the candy in my car today, so I will bring it for you tomorrow.
Miss Reese.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Lunch
I was
today.
just